Okay.
All right, we will start today with Katie Hunter.
Luke, I wanted to ask you about Harrison Barnes. I feel like he's been probably the most consistent player for you guys, but it's been in so many different ways. What has he brought kind of this season, and how many different ways have you been able to rely on him?
Yeah, I would agree with you, Katie. He has been our most consistent. Probably throw Rashawn in there too, behind him. But, Harrison is from the offensive end, defensive end, post-ups, getting to the foul line. So a lot of what we talk about offensively is we want to attack. And then when teams collapse, shoot threes, get to the foul line. And Harrison's doing all three of those at a very high level. In transition and half-court sets, when we do post him up, he's been he's been a rock for us so far early in the season.
Sean Cunningham.
Hey, Luke. I guess first for me, just your reaction to seeing kind of today's events in terms of the James Harden trade and kind of what that means to the Western Conference and your take overall.
Well, I think Brooklyn will be a very entertaining team to watch. I mean, they were before, but I don't think it changes much. I mean, most of my day has been spent watching Portland film, and it's a very good Portland team. We got to play in a few hours, so that's where most of my thoughts are. Houston, I thought got a very good player in the deal too. So they got Vic now. They got Wall and Cousins and Eric Gordon. I mean, that's still a very good team. Christian Wood obviously having a great year. So it's the West is a monster, and really the East has turned itself into a pretty legit loaded conference as well. So I don't see much change in there.
Crystal Saltis. Chris.
Hello, Coach. I would like to ask you how important for you is to keep the pace from your last game against the Pacers, and what do you expect to see from your players tonight?
We expect to see pace. We expect to see the passion and the effort that we've seen most of the season from our team. That's what we expect. And now it's about as the game starts coming out and doing that. And I think our team has shown us on most nights that's what we're going to get with them.
James Ham.
Hey, Luke, the last time you played these guys, I believe you had Rashawn Holmes out. Just how much does he change your ability to slow that high pick and roll and slow some of the perimeter action that this team does?
Yeah, he's a huge part of it because he's one of our vocal leaders. He's one of our he gives a ton of positive energy when he plays. He's great in coverage and he's great in switching. So he allows us to really be versatile with how we want to do things. So we definitely missed him last game. Not an excuse for how we played that game. We're going to more so this season than any other. We're going to be missing a lot of players throughout this year at different times. So we got to find a way to play to our level every night. But it is nice to get him back.
Tony Harpy.
Yeah, Coach Walton. Glenn Robinson. You insert him on the floor with confidence. What are some of the things you're looking for when you put him in there? Because he does get some important minutes when he's out there on the floor.
Yeah, he's earned that confidence. He's earned that with his play since training camp started. He's a great teammate. He's a very good basketball player. And some of the things he does really well, he's a good shooter from three, and he really attacks those gaps which we're looking for consistently. As far as when if they overclose on him, the ball's not sticking. He's repenetrating, getting into the paint. Again, what we're really looking for and what we've done a good job of so far this season, and helping the offense continue to move. So yeah, he's done a nice job so far for us.
I'll go back to Jason Anderson.
Hey, Luke, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about Marvin and what you've seen looking at film of him recently. Fundamental stuff, like, or do you see little technical things that, like, I'm thinking of him staying down on Sabonis in that last game, going up for the block, things like that. Are you seeing some of that stuff start to improve, and what are the areas you're still looking for him to get better at?
Yeah, there's definitely improvement happening. I think that example of the block is a great one. He took a charge last game. Great example. He got driven by, I think, by Aaron Holiday in most of the season. That's been a layup so far, and he stayed high with that and blocked it before it got to the backboard. I really thought he played some winning team basketball last game. And again, it's what we're continuing to try to push with him. I think everyone on our staff would tell you he's going to, throughout his career, he's going to put up big numbers. But where we need to continue to grow is the things that we're trying to do as a team, from on the defensive end and the offensive end. And I thought last game he really did that at a not only a high level, but really showing a lot of improvement in those type of things, from rotations to rebounds to blocks to charges. So that was really good to see.
Sean Cunningham.
Luke, before last game, we talked a lot about health and safety protocols and measures that were enforced. Now that some of these new things have kind of come to light, I guess two parts. Just what were your kind of reaction and how you guys will be able to deal with them? But secondarily, do you have someone on your staff that kind of enforces it or has to, like, hold people accountable?
Well, we try to hold each other accountable, but yeah, there's different people throughout the staff that are in charge of different parts of the protocol. And some of it, a lot of times, is just reminders, because there's so many moving parts that you just forget sometimes. With the new ones in place, again, goes back to, we knew all season long this was going to be a challenge. There's going to be different there's going to be rule changes, and we just have to stay open-minded, positive, because we all, this is what it takes to play. And I think everyone here wants to play. We want to coach. But we also know we have to be safe, and there's a very dangerous, real, scary pandemic happening out there. So it's not ideal, but it's, if this is what it takes to allow us to play, this is what we have to do.
All right, take a couple more. David Bernal.
Hi, Coach. I've noticed some tracking data in which you guys are ranked 4th in the NBA on after timeout plays. Is that an area that you've noticed a particular amount of improvement on from last year? And if so, what would you credit that as being?
No, I didn't know that number. But I would say, you have success with that when players are locked in and executing. But I didn't know the numbers on that one.
Mark Jones.
Hey, Luke. Just wanted to ask you about Harrison. You guys have a little bit of history going back, and as Katie was talking about, he's been one of your more consistent guys this year. Where do you see his biggest kind of progression or development from, when you guys were back together then to where he is now? And how's that impacting your team?
Yeah, I think where he's even back then, he was one of the more professional players I'd ever seen, even at the age of whatever he was, 22. The way he takes care of himself, the way he trains, is really really impressive. But I think where he's made that growth is just in his overall game, right? Like, he works at everything, and he's continued to improve as a 3-point shooter. He's continued to improve on the defensive end. He's continued to improve on his post game. But I think what he's done a great job of this year, and I'm going to keep telling him, I want, last game he had 30 and however many. I'll take 25 shots. What I mean? Like, we want him to continue to look to be as aggressive as possible. But what he's really doing a great job of is not settling. Like, with him, more so than anyone, we're getting threes, we're getting free throws, we're getting layups. Not a ton of mid-range, not a ton of floaters, and he's really taken that to an elite level.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
Okay, thanks, guys.